Welcome to Bank Holiday Sunday. You're listening to Jon Richardson. I had a cracking start to the day this morning. I managed to scare to death our producer Adam by sneaking up behind him in the studio and shouting when he didn't know I was supposed to be in. So I hope you had an equally good start. Let's be honest, most people are probably still in bed, it being a bank holiday. The show today has all the usual features. My 100% belter, we'll do Am I Normal. We'll chat live with comedian Russell Howard at Melbourne Comedy Festival, assuming we can get hold of him. And I'm delighted to say that my guest for the next 3 hours will be the wonderful Mr. Alan Carr.
Oh, 3 hours.
Yeah, sorry, we didn't
You said it was only 10 minutes.
Yeah, about that.
This has turned into a hostage situation.
If you could pad.
No, I'm going to be 3 hours. Lovely.
All right, good. Well, I'll remind you of that about 12 o'clock when you're flagging. But you've done radio before. You've done Dara O'Brien. You were on Radio 1 yesterday.
I did the Urban... What's the Urban?
I don't
the
listen
BBC
to
Urban.
One extra.
Yeah, I did that, and I had to read the text out, and I couldn't understand what anyone was saying. It was like, might have been hieroglyphics. It was like, word, bust you up, and all like, yes, get on down with on the good foot.
We don't get a lot of that, to be honest.
Oh.
I've waged a 25-week campaign against any abbreviations in text messages whatsoever. So we get very precise, grammatically correct text messages, or we just don't read them out. That's our policy.
Well, that's good, yes.
Mistakes will not be tolerated. So you can join us in if you have any comment to make this bank holiday. Tell us what you're up to. The text number is 64046, or you can email russell.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk. Right, well, it's clearly going to be an innuendo.
You can't even innuendo. What are you saying?
I've had a terrible... I've been watching the snooker all this week, and
really?
I like snooker, but if I'm honest, I watch it because one of the commentators is called Willie.
Oh.
And every now and again, every time a player goes to pot the pink, I always want them to miss, because you know John Virgo's going to go, well, that was a big pink, Willie. And I will laugh for at least half an hour.
You can watch Carry On Gambling on UK Gold. Why do you sit through the snooker if you want cheap shots?
I can pretend I'm a man watching sport, though, then you see, and go, yeah, oh, God, did you see the old thing? And I say, no, I was on the floor laughing. Our first completely random text of the day, always nice. Dear John, is it inserting Soleros, ? From Grumpy in Bury St Edmunds. Do you know what that means, Alan?
No, inserting Soleros.
Yeah, means nothing to me. I'd like to thank Alan for ridding me of the accursed cigarette addiction. Happy Hole Gents from Sion Bristol. That's a witty misunderstanding of the Alan Carr.
It was actually died.
Right, not so witty then.
No, I mean, I get all that all the time. People asking, on my website. You've seen my website. It's the campest thing you've ever seen. My head appears
I've seen some pretty camp stuff.
Yeah, and that is pretty camp. And then I still get people saying, I'm on 40 B&H a day. How can you help me? And I'm like, I can't really help you there.
And a text you'll feel comfortable with. Well, I'm going to read this, then I'm going to pass it over to you. It's the top text message. I quite like to hear you read it. In fact, I'm not even going to read it. I just want you to go straight for that text message at the top there, given your experience in radio.
Blood clot me wag when it's tipper that Alan Carr is bringing it up with your ton tipper in it.
Very nice, very well done.
Is that from Ashleen from Big Brother?
A lovely rhythmic lilt you gave.
I know, and I've just had a can of lilt, so I felt...
What I particularly like
as we speak
is that you read it, Blood Clot Me Wag 1, which, now I don't speak a lot of jive, but I know Wag 1. That's what it is, isn't it? Wagwan means what's going on, doesn't it? But
really?
the way you read it with the pause after wag implied that we were sort of wags, wives
like
and
Wag
girlfriends.
Boutique.
Yeah, blood clot wags. One. So yeah, lovely. Thanks for that. Keep your street text messages coming in. Yeah, always nice to read things that make no sense whatsoever. Now, amazing. In the Independent today, they've it all kicked off last week with the head of BP, who was sacked for having a private life. So what the Independent have done, they've printed a list now of the top 100 most successful gays in the country.
Oh, yes.
Now, Alan, do you think you're in the top 100?
Well, listen, I was watching Channel 4 the other day. They did the top 100 funniest comedians.
Right.
I'm 97.
Oh, really?
Funnier than Joe Pasquale, but not as funny as Jim Bowen, who was 96.
Well, Jim Bowen's a good guy. I won't have anything said about him. Anyone who gives me a press quote is...
Then it got me thinking, if Jim Bowen had an accident, I would go up to 96.
97, really? Well, that doesn't seem fair. I think you should be at least 64.
Oh, thank you, John.
Yeah, and I mean that, sincerely.
Yeah, that's coming from a good place.
Now, I can tell you that in the top 100, and these are the most influential business gay men and women,
No,
in the
you're
Independence
lying.
Day.
I'm not in it.
You are ahead of Paul O'Grady.
No way.
I'm telling you.
You're reading it back to front.
No, I'm not. You're straight in as well. You're a new entry, and there aren't a lot of those. You're ahead of Julian Clary.
Oh.
Neil Tennant. You're ahead of all these people. You are 32
Never.
in the top 100. You're ahead of Radio 1 Scott Mills.
How come, though? Powerful. I've got no power.
I think you've got power on. I just don't think you're wielding it.
Oh.
I think there's a backlash
that
coming.
gives me power, that I've got this power, but I don't use it. Like
Exactly.
Nero. No, that's wrong. He used his power, didn't he?
I'm not really sure. It's one of those things I don't think many people
I'm
will
in the top
question.
100 greatest emperors.
Actually,
You're
I
in
think
just
that's
after
next week.
Caligula.
But 32. And there's a picture of you, look. And then you've got a full write-up. All about
my
your
Lord.
tour and saving a life.
I'll get my maid Juanita to read it to me when I get back.
Now you're behind David Hockney, George Michael, Simon Callow. Who do you think number one is?
Oh, it's got to be Christopher Biggins.
You heard it here first on Six Music's Bank Holiday Special.
No, it must be Elton John or Ian McKellen, isn't it?
It's not. Ian McKellen is he's well down the list.
Oh.
I can't even see him top 20. Ian McKellen. Oh, he's number 5.
Oh, he would
five.
be, because he does a lot for the gays.
Elton John at 3. Straight in at number 2, Stephen Fry, 23 last year. Good climb.
Oh, he's done well, hasn't he?
Look out number 1, Russell T Davies.
Oh,
Scriptwriter for
Doctor
Doctor
Who,
Who.
of course.
Yeah. So, you know, quite how he's going to use that to further gay civil rights in this country, I'm not really sure.
Well, I mean, I've done my bit.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought I'd push gay rights back with my voice, but no, apparently they love me.
We did many gigs together last year. I didn't even know until I read it in the paper this morning.
You were shocked, weren't you?
I was shocked and surprised. But we'll have another track. Coming up, of course, we've got Am I Normal, which is a feature we do every week. So, Alan, basically, we get weirdos to text in. We used to do the show with Russell when he would say that people were weird, and I would argue that they weren't. Now, weirdos just text in, and I go, yeah, it's fine, this is all good. This is all good. Stand on snails, but exactly.
Do they text in jive?
All right, well, let's set that as a standard then. For today, most text messages, if you can muster it, 64046, just text in jive, and we'll read that until I get told that it's inappropriate and that we need to stop. So
Yeah,
coming
but
after.
don't try and trick us and put some filth in, and I'm gladly
God,
reading
yeah.
it out and I'm insulting. You know, just keep it fun, jive.
That would be really good, actually, because we could do the show now, and then I'll go away and find out what everything means and listen again midweek. And I'll enjoy the show on a whole different level. Lots of text coming in for Am I Normal, which I think we'll do after the news at 10:30. Lots of text messages coming in as well. Alan and John, who is your favourite Marx brother? I'm having a wager at work, thank you, from Mike in Bearwood.
It's got to be Groucho, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that, but I don't really know a lot about the Marx Brothers, so I think I just tend to say. So part of me wants to rebel and say like Harpo or something.
Or Chico.
Yeah, I'm going to say Chico.
Oh, no, he's the one from Pop Idol, sorry. no, one is called Chico Marx. I know there is.
Right, well, I'm having Chico then. You're going for
Groucho.
Andy from Glasgow's texted in another quote from John Virgo on the snooker, which I don't think I can read, but suffice to say, I got in a lot of trouble this week for saying something perfectly nice.
Yeah.
I played football this week, and I haven't played football for ages. And I was walking past, and there was a ladies' match going on another pitch, and there was a load of men being bawdy and sort of witty wooing and whistling and so on. And I was with my friend Mark, who said to me, "Oh, what are you going to do after football?" And I was going home to braise 2 lamb shanks, Alan, because that's the sort of stuff I get up to of an evening. So I said,
you're talking, I think you'll be number 31 next year. And he isn't even gay, Jon Richardson. Straight in.
I'd settle for that. I've never been in the top 100 anything, so I'll take that, to be honest. So I said to him, I'm going to go home and braise a couple of lamb shanks. And one of the defenders for the team looked at the goalkeeper and, Jesus. And she'd obviously thought it was some sort of smutty innuendo that I was doing, when it wasn't. I just genuinely was going home to braise lamb shanks. I was really angry we live in a society where you can't even say something like that without someone assuming you're being a filthy.
And I bet the men were shouting like the women, nice melons, yeah. Lovely, show us a bit of leg. And you go, oh, you're telling us what you're having for Sunday lunch.
Yeah.
And you get...
I'm going to make a broth with mint sauce in it as well.
You're the sex pest.
Suddenly I've got the police on my ass. Now, something that we've done in the past, which I didn't mention today, but one came in, was we usually invite people to pick a nickname for my guest. This started when I had a guest in called John, and I said we can't have two Johns. But I didn't mention it, but one came in anyway, didn't it? Someone suggested a nickname. Yeah. Have you got it there?
This it is. That one.
Yeah.
Spicy Alan Fafallen McGruff.
Right.
That's my new nickname.
Spicy Alan Fafallen McGruff.
Yeah, that works. That really does. Is that in jive?
I don't know what it is. It might stick, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a ring to it. Yeah, Spicy Alan Fafallen McGruff. Yeah.
Next year's top 10 pink list will read last year's number 32. Things really took off for him when he discovered his rap name, Spicy Alan. And then I think a single will come off the back of that.
Yeah, Spicy Alan. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
MC Spicy.
You do a tour called Nice and Spicy. It writes itself, doesn't it? With Barbara and Ice.
Oh, yeah, Spice Rack. Racking it up.
Spice Rap.
Yeah, Spice Rap,
Yeah.
Saffron, yeah. I'll think of other spices.
We should have really planned this out.
Yeah, thanks for dumping this on me now. Do a rap about spices now.
Yeah, this is why I get guests in. It's so much. It's very difficult writing links. It's nice to just threaten people with stuff and say, "You had an anecdote about meeting an Eskimo in BHS, didn't you, Alan?"
Well, I thought you'd never ask.
So we're getting on now, once and for all, to Am I Normal? We had some crackers in. We get some in during the week, you see, because people listen again and they email in. And some came in this week. I was reading them midweek and I was wetting myself. Very difficult to get stuff done. A couple here and then I'll hand to Alan. I had one from Joe that says, I can't stand mayonnaise. It's disgusting. Whenever I'm near it, it makes me feel physically sick, and just thinking about it now, with its disgusting consistency and hideous colour, is making me feel queasy. Am I normal, or am I the only one who feels this way? That really encapsulates the passion of Am I Normal, because when you find out you hate mayonnaise, it's important to let the nation know. And we had another one in from Claire that says, when I was young, I liked all my food plain and didn't have sauce on anything. For example, I never dipped chicken nuggets in anything, but 5 years ago when I was a teenager, I started to like barbecue sauce, and now I have it with my chicken nuggets. But I'm riddled with guilt about the situation, and always have to have some nuggets, perhaps 2 in 6, without sauce, out of respect for my former self and my former beliefs, and also to respect the nuggets, which I imagine don't much like being dipped in brown smelly sauce.
That's nice that you give a thought for the chicken.
Yeah, well, chicken nuggets, you know, they need respect. Yeah, and I think it's time maybe form a political coalition for chicken nuggets. It's all kicking off Sarkozy, Ségolène Royal. Who's campaigning for the chicken nuggets?
But to be fair, you know, when you go to McDonald's, that barbecue sauce is better than the ketchup, to be honest.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I used to just eat that.
And they never keep it on the top. You have to physically ask, have you got barbecue sauce? And then they rummage underneath, don't they?
Yeah, and we've got one of them in.
Yeah, and they're like, throw them at you. Well, actually, they're not the most politest of people at the best of times, are they, to be honest?
You've got an Am I Normal there?
Oh, I know. I have to clap my hands when I unplug my hair straighteners. Of course. Otherwise, when I leave the house and get far enough away, then I can't just nip back. I'm consumed with panic that I've left them plugged in and I'll burn the house down. I find that if I clap, I remember the clap, and that reminds me that I've unplugged the straighteners. The problem is I'm now so beginning to forget that I've clapped, so I'm considering adding a whistle to the end of the clap, so that when the panic sits in, I remember the whistle that will remind me that I've clapped, that will remind me that I've unplugged the straighteners, that will remind me that I won't burn the house down that day. As if she needs to put at the end, am I normal?
Well, that's an absolute classic, because I do that with locking my car. I'll walk away, so now I say, this is Jon Richardson on the 4th of May locking his car on Hammersmith Road, so that I remember that. So
right.
That's an absolute classic.
But this could just escalate, couldn't it? Can you imagine? What?
Maybe that's how Harry Krishna started. Maybe it was just a guy who wanted to remember that he'd put his orange tracksuit that on this morning. So he started a little song.
Maybe they've all left the gas on, those people down Tottenham Court Road.
Oh, I love Am I Normal? I love thinking that there are people out there like this. Joe in Cambridge, I'm unable to consume any form of hot or warm liquid. I know what you're thinking. I don't think you do, Joe. I don't think anyone truly knows what I'm thinking. But the answer is yes. This does include all varieties of soup. What about cold soups like a vichyssoise or a gazpacho?
Yes.
It's not the flavour I object to, but the texture of hot liquid in my mouth. It feels to me like I'm drinking blood. Am I normal? I don't know. I don't
that's
think
taken
so.
on a sinister tone.
It did at the end, didn't it?
Interesting with that, with the soup and the. I think, oh yeah, then am I drinking blood? I'm like, oh dear.
There's dodgy stuff going on in Cambridge. Have you got any more on my novels there, Alan?
Well, this is a weird one. Steph in Aberdeen. She had a dream last night about a guy that she really fancied. We were in a club and we were talking and stuff, and then he started to take his T-shirt off. I got terribly excited, but then was slightly disappointed to find that he had a big pair of boobies under his T-shirt. I'm trying to work out what that means. I wasn't particularly pleased to see them, but I wasn't entirely repulsed at the same time.
Oh, dear.
Hell. Well, Steph, it's obvious that you're a lesbian. And I think if you buck your ideas up, you might be number 35 in the gay list next year.
You're listening to Judging People very quickly now. One dream, but I love the way you said boobies then.
Boobies? Well, she's wrote boobies.
Oh, that's a wonderful word, isn't it, boobies?
You know, maybe should we get a dream book and see what big boobies mean if you dream about them?
Well, we tried this for a while, but they're so bad, some of these, that I said to people, email in your dreams and I'll research them during the week, but actual dream books, they're just rubbish. Someone had emailed in a dream that said, I'm really scared of being buried alive. So I thought, oh, that's quite interesting. I wonder what that means. And I looked in the dream book, and the dream book genuinely said, it's more of a fear of sort of being buried alive. I thought, well, you've taken that quite literally there, haven't you? And they said, yeah, well, that sort of relates to suffocation and the fear of not being able to breathe, which I think, to be honest, is one that we all have.
But then sometimes they go off the wall, those cheap ones, like buried alive or having a stake through my heart. It's like, watch out, you might get £10 on a lottery draw, or, you know what I mean? Or someone's going to be very lucky in a raffle. You're like, are you sure?
I've been reading my stars this week, and my stars have got a little bit like that. Justin Topper. Do you read your stars?
Oh, that's silly. Yes, of course.
I think they're basically just counselling, aren't they, for stupid people? They just go, oh, this week something really good's going to happen, so keep your chin up, you weirdo, reading your stars in the mirror. Just keep your chin up.
Well, with Mystic Meg, I like the strip at the bottom. Have you seen it where, like, she gets messages from the grave, and it's like, your heirlooms in that Ming vase.
Right, well, we'll keep your Am I Normals coming in now. This is very special. We've got the winner of Natasha did her This Is Hard Choral, which was school groups doing choral versions of tracks that you've heard before. I tried to download the version of Don't Fear the Reaper, but I couldn't get it, which I assume is a problem with my computer. But this is the winner now. And also we wrapped up this week the Taxing Lyrical, which was the worst track of all time, which I'm very bitter about, because the one I nominated was Snap, Rhythm is a Dancer.
Oh, Serious as Cancer.
Serious as Cancer. Oh, now that came second out of all of them.
What
and I was
that then?
Desiree. I don't want to see a ghost. That's the sight I fear the most. I'd rather eat a piece of toast, watch the evening news. Now, that's a terrible lyric, fair dues, right? But it's accurate.
Yes.
I would rather have a piece of toast than see a ghost.
Yes, of
So
course.
although it's a bad lyric, it's not a lie. Whereas I'm as serious as cancer when I say that's a lie, that, because you're never... I mean, maybe twice...
Cancer is serious.
It's very serious, and maybe twice in your life will you need to be as serious as cancer, but never when talking... No
Not
one's
for a dance tune. You don't want to be dancing at... Mind you, where would you be dancing? You'd be dancing to Snap. That's a really
in the
crap
80s
club, yes.
But no one's going to come up to you with a knife and go, listen, Snap, if indeed that is your real name. You better start talking about rhythm with specific reference to its relationship with dance, or I'm going to cut you.
Yeah.
So I was really angry that it came. If I'd known that we were vying for top spot, I'd have had a real drive for it last week on the show.
What's your worst lyric?
That was the one I nominated.
Oh, yeah.
Do you mean, have I ever written a lyric worse than that?
No. One that you listened, you go, what?
I wrote a lot of poems as a child that were pretty dreadful. One about man's best friend that ended with the line, I take him for walks across a bog. He is, of course, my faithful dog.
Oh, I like that. That's got a twist at the end. That's like Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Who's he taking across this bog? I can't wait for the next line. Oh, it's the dog.
Well, that was kind of what I was going for through the poem, but I ruined it by drawing a massive picture of a dog on it. So I think that's pretty much good. I wrote a poem about the environment. The world is not to be taken for granted. Its life expectancy cannot be expanded. That was pretty hard-hitting environment. But anyway, enough of my rubbish poetry. That's a whole different feature.
Oh,
so
please!
More! All right, a full recital from me for the next 3 hours of my tracks. So we've got Am I Normals coming in. Someone's emailed me in a cracking picture of a hand dryer. You know I like it. We did some gigs together last year,
Yes.
and you found out I have quite a thing for hand dryers.
Yes.
Someone's emailed me in a picture of one. It says, "Hi, John and Alan. Hiya.
Hello.
Bit forced. Further to your previous discussion about public toilet amenities, this is a recurring theme, to be honest.
Right, okay.
We had a cracking email from someone in discussing the fact that the nicer the village that you find yourself in, the worse and the more crude the graffiti in the public toilets. Like the posh little church toilets have always got the filthiest graffiti in.
You want to see the graffiti in the ivy? It's appalling.
Different worlds.
Oh, you wouldn't believe.
If I start my... Well, you want to see the graffiti in my local in West Swindon. Further to your previous discussions about public toilet amenities, when I was in Melbourne Airport last week, I had to take a picture of a hand dryer with a built-in television. Just for you. I know it doesn't surpass your hygiene standards, but it's got novelty value. Yeah, because it doesn't recirculate the air, I'm guessing. I can't see a recirculate. But, I mean, I think that's good, right, a TV on a hand dryer.
What's it look like?
Sorry, there we go.
Oh, yeah,
It's your basic,
clever.
It's your basic world dryer model from what I can see with a bit on the top. And there seems to be a sign next to it that says, please use hand dryers, which, you know, I'm all in favour of. The problem with that is a TV on a hand dryer suggests you're going to be there for some time, which suggests that the hand dryer itself is probably a bit rubbish. If you've got time to watch an episode of The Simpsons while you're drying your hands.
Yeah, someone's complained, didn't they?
Yeah. 3 days I was in there. Would it kill you to put a film on?
Spartacus, that's quite long, isn't it? You know. Willie, you know these jive texts, they're coming in thick and fast.
Oh, good.
Graham from Cambridge went, bloods is me normal. Can't think of anything
Is
now.
he 70?
Yes.
There's a sort of pensioner twang to your jive talk, which I enjoy. Me, I'm in the post office last week, and you'll never guess what's happening. Stamps has gone up 2 pence, brethren, 2 pence.
I was trying to suck me teeth. It did sound like I had dentures. Yeah, one of us in this room has dentures. Can you tell which one? Yes, so Graham from Cambridge said blood is me normal, and yes. Oh no. There's a new schools programme starting soon. Speak Fun Jive with Christopher Biggins, Big Bob from Portsmouth. So Christopher Biggins is doing a fun jive. So
Right, well, I look forward to that.
yeah.
And that'll be. I'm sure you can get links to that on the BBC website next to the hardcore stuff.
Yes, just put in Google Christopher Biggins fun jive and see what pops up.
Yeah. Should point out we are not legally responsible for any content that does arrive in your inbox from such a search.
Yeah.
Am I normal? Shall we just move on? I mean,
Yeah,
we're all
let's
having
move
fun
on.
times, but, you know, remember Christopher Biggins. I am a surreal guitarist seeking a mandolin-playing optician. Am I normal, Gavin from Bradford? Pretty much not. I don't understand why you would do that. Someone texted in, yes, mayonnaise is foul. Consistency and colour is wrong. Prawn Mary Rose is even worse. The most awful moment of my life was watching my friend eat a prawn Mary Rose sandwich in Laura. I don't want to say you've had a charmed life, Laura, but if that's the worst moment of your life, probably things are going all right.
I know, I'd say.
Like
Mary Rose.
That scene in Seven with the guy just rocking backwards and forwards on the chair. And he said, eat the sandwich, and I watched. You can't have a qualm with the colour of mayonnaise, though. It's just white, isn't it?
I thought it was more yellowy, isn't it?
Is it? Well, cheap sort of Hellmann's and stuff is just white, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
I can't see having a qualm with the colour. Dear John, Duke Special is just one person, although he does have chums when he plays live. Anyhow, the album's magic from Callum. Thanks.
Well, I did like that song.
I did. And people, there's a link on the website which we're calling 99% Belter. I need to improve my musical taste, basically.
Yeah.
I do 100% Belter in the last hour of the show where I pick a song that probably most people will hate. I'm quite excited this week. I think it's a pretty good track I've picked this week.
Oh, right.
And now you can go on the website and recommend stuff for me to listen to so that I can better... Like this week I've been listening to Gogol Bordello as a result. Have you heard them?
Oh.
Sort of gypsy punk it is.
Oh, that sounds good.
It is good. There's a couple of cracking tracks on the album. Start Wearing Purple's very good, and Not a Crime I enjoy, but some of it's quite loud, and I'm quite timid.
You are, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm quite frightened around
Sometimes
the
when
house.
those dryers come off, you jump a mile, don't you?
I listened to Patrick Wolf this week and some Pogues. People recommended Pogues tracks. So I am researching the 99% belters, so you can keep those coming in. Am I normal? When I look at a 24-hour clock between 7 and 8, i.e. 1900 and 2000, if I can't think of an event which happened on the year corresponding to the time, 1951, for example, I consider myself an abject failure as a human being.
Oh, no.
John in Winchester, well, don't take it that seriously. I mean, I probably could come up with two, to be honest. My history is dreadful. And one of those would be when I was born, and the other would probably be 1966.
Yeah, and if it's like 1066 pops up, then you've probably got a faulty clock. I'd take it back to the market.
Yeah.
Say, this clock.
Just look at it with one eye, though, to make sure it is definitely broken. Lots of stuff coming in. 64046 russell.6music@bbc.co.uk. Join in. We're talking jive today. An email comes in. Morning, Jam. That sounded like Wurzel Gummidge. Morning, Jam.
This one's from Aunt Sally.
Yeah. Morning, John, and number 96, bigging it up, influential Alan Flibber Flabber Blood Clot.
Oh, thank you.
I'm glad you have reacted so receptively to the obvious and wholly justified jive backlash against good standards English that has been bandied around so prevalently on your show. Bring it on. I've been very, very pedantic about grammar in the past, and it's coming back to bite me. So Tom says, me wondering about the normal ting and tang. What is right? Is that my brethren is fell up of all the home comfort and proper silence of countryside suburbia. So he said he is going to fix up a banging rig and junk their neighbours with some ragga sound clash ting and stuff. This is the problem with jive emails. If they don't make any sense, then the joke is really lost. I think what he's saying is that he's got a neighbour who lives in the countryside who's a bit bored of the quiet. So he's going to make a lot of noise with some ragga sound clash.
Or it could be a recipe for jerky chicken.
It could be. Well, I'll try it. I'll mix up some countryside suburbia and a banging rig.
With a blood clot and...
Oh
no.
Black pudding.
Oh, that's worse than mayonnaise.
Tom says, I said he should be careful as Mrs. Matthews next door is a leading member of a local neighbourhood watch scheme and has a nervous cat. And also enjoys the afternoon snooker. I wish I lived in the countryside. Thanks for a lovely show from Tom. Alice Turnbull says, firstly, I don't know what jive is.
Oh, get with it.
It's really wicked, because she might mean that. Firstly, I don't know what jive... It's really... I discovered the worst word to send in a text this week is well. You know, like in conversation, you'll happily go, well, if you fancy going to the shops.
Yeah.
But when you write that in a text, it automatically looks like, well, if you want to go to the shops...
Yes, yeah.
You have to be really careful with language when you're writing a text message. So I don't know whether she's angry or not. Let's find out. Firstly, I don't know what jive is. This she's
Was that jive then?
She's written a lot of D's there, so I'll probably just abbreviate.
She sent it in through Morse code.
This disconcerts me somewhat, but is not my main worry. That would be the fact that every time I'm on the approach to my flat, just as I'm getting my keys out, I feel that there's someone watching me from one of the other flats, and he's willing me not to be able to find my keys. Whenever I do find my keys, and I see that he is seething and disgruntled when I don't, he'll be up there cackling away with joy. I don't like this image, and I wish that it would stop. They're the ones that I don't like when the emails end with, I just wish it'd go away. That's when I think I've probably started something a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
They're noises, John, just make it stop. Well, what we'll probably do is just laugh about it on the radio, if that's all right with you.
Well, Carol in sunny Swindon, she says when she fills the car with petrol, having placed the unleaded nozzle into the...
You're deliberately saucing this up.
No, I'm not. Unleaded nozzle into my fuel tank hole. Oh, dear. I check repeatedly during the filling process that the diesel nozzle has not somehow jumped in instead.
Right.
Am I normal?
I kind of do that. It's just one big check at the start.
Oh, yeah, you just look up, don't you, and say, oh, I have, you know.
Yeah.
Because green means unleaded, don't they?
Green
That's
means
the universal, yeah, so green means go. If you look at green. Yeah.
And then yellow means diesel.
Yeah, but I don't, yeah.
It stinks, doesn't it, diesel? It really stinks.
I've never put it in my car.
Have you not? I had
No.
some diesel hire cars and stuff, because every car I ever buy crashes at some point. It really stinks.
Do you remember on the tour, you used to have so much trouble with your car, didn't you?
Oh,
I'd
don't get
the
me
phone
started,
call.
Alan.
Oh.
Don't get me started. Something happened last night when I parked up. I got back from a gig last night, parked off, and my car made a noise like every fluid in it was leaking out. And I checked, and there was no leakage.
Really?
But I thought when I get up this morning, I don't know what I'd have done. What if I'd have got up this morning in Swindon and my car hadn't started? What would I have
What was
done?
the noise like then, that every fluid was coming out of your car? like that, yeah.
Could have been Bernard Manning with a cat ball behind my car. I'm not really sure.
Did you have a percolator on the dashboard?
Well, I've gone up in the world since we worked on the tour. But yeah, cars, we just don't get on cars.
No.
We had an email in today. We chatted. Claire last week was sitting her driving test and she passed. So well done to Claire.
Oh, well done.
But she got 7 minors. So she's passed, but she's probably not very good yet. Is that fair? You can get about 15 minors, can't you, and still pass? That seems wrong to me.
No.
That's like, how long's your test? Like 20 minutes? That's like saying you made a pretty serious error almost every minute. But go out onto the roads and just see what happens, why don't you?
Well, you know what? Apparently they can be really harsh. My mum's friend went for a test, and he said, he said to her, "Are you all right?" She went, "Yes, everything apart from me wooden leg." And he went, "I'm afraid you're not in the right frame of mind. I cannot test you." And she got failed before she even got in the car.
That's a bit harsh.
You see, how come? And then this Claire woman, with all her faults, seems to be put in the fast track to success.
Oh, that's really harsh, just making a cheeky joke.
Leg.
Yeah, because that's funny as well. I mean, I got the opposite. I got minors on my test for excessive caution, and I'd have loved to have been in a state of mind where I could have just chilled out and made a few jokes.
Yeah, because I joke, can you read the number plate on the car? What car? Like that. It's an icebreaker. Yeah. It's not hilarious, but he says, "Look, I'm a bit of a joker."
Yeah, it says Kill, doesn't it? I think I have a bit of a laugh with him. Right, a couple of my normals before we move on. Gentlemen, generally I carry a small torch around with me, just in case. My normal, James. I think probably not, to be honest, unless that's a euphemism again. But during the daytime, what could possibly go wrong, just in case there's an eclipse or the sun goes out? Me and my mate have a thing for good hand dryers, says Stuart in Aberdeen. Nice to know we're not alone. You're very much... I mean, maybe, Stuart, you haven't listened to shows in the past. I don't want to go over it in case people listen every week. But top 3, Accelerator, PHS Ultra Dry 2, Dyson Airblade. Unbelievable. Right, am I the only one waiting for the kiddies to flick into "There is no one quite like Grandma," says Shay in Aberdeen? Probably you weren't, to be honest. And am I normal? Whenever I walk past a KFC, other fried alleged chicken outlets are available. I have an uncontrollable urge to physically harm everyone sitting inside.
I think that's pretty normal, isn't it?
I don't know.
You are very much normal.
Yeah, I think you should move to France and vote for Ségolène Royal and start the comeback. A little bit of French satire there for me.
Oh, very good. Bon.
Oh, oui, merci beaucoup. Keep the text coming out. I'm really enjoying the show today. I'm having a lot of fun, good music, good banter. Keep your text coming in, 64046, russell.6music at bbc.co.uk. We're doing Am I Normal? And we're also talking about toilets and hand dryers again. It always kicks off this. Hand dryers aren't that hygienic, John. Who doesn't walk away using their trousers for the last spot of clamminess? Give me paper towels any day.
You got to think of deforestation, though, haven't you?
Carbon footprint, innit? So I tell you what, I really don't like those ones. You have the towel that you pull down, and it's like on a cycle.
Oh, that's vile.
I heard once that the sort of the big gubbins at the top is like a press, so it doesn't clean it; it just cycles the whole thing round, so that when it comes round again, it's just been pressed.
Yes,
Yeah, and I just don't trust that.
Well, you know what he was saying? I used to do that with the hand dryer and then wipe me hands on the trousers. Then I'd feel guilty and end up taking my trousers off and hanging them up against the dryer. Then I got arrested.
Oh, your trousers get wet, so you use someone else's?
Yes.
Don't mind, do you? I've just been to the toilet.
You got to think of the forest. Officer.
But that's only when the hand dryer is bad that your hands are still clammy. The PHS Ultra Dry 2, I guarantee if you come away with clammy hands, then I'll give you a £5.
I'll give you your money back.
Then I will blow your hands dry with my mouth. And someone says, "Hi, John. Worst toilet I ever used was in a pub in Dublin. 3 urinals up against the wall. Next to them a toilet pan, but no walls, partition or door, just freestanding. If you were sat down in the pub, you were at a level where you were apt to see a lot going on," says Jim in Plymouth.
Would anyone actually defecate while people were...
micturating?
Yes.
I doubt it. Well, you hope not, but we're discussing this off air. Ladies now, they have sort of 2 toilets for 2, don't they?
Yeah, but women like that, don't they? They can apply their makeup and, do what they got to do.
Yeah. And all women are a bit lesbian as well, I heard.
Yes, that is, yeah.
That was in the papers. That's why they haven't done
like
pink
Steph, who texted earlier, who had dreams about boobies.
I've never been to Dublin. I think I'd like to go there. We did Belfast, didn't we, on the tour last year?
Yeah.
We
walked
impressed.
through that.
Oh, yeah, that estate.
We walked through an estate, apparently, that was very anti-British, wasn't it? And I was wearing a pink jumper. And I was asking, hello.
We're doing a gig at the theatre. We're entertaining you people this evening.
The first Irish person that can direct me gets a shiny shilling.
But that was on the subject of breast as well, because I was amazed. We were in that bar having a glass of wine, and you suddenly pointed, you went, look at the size of them, and pointed out the largest pair of bajongas
I know.
anyone's ever seen.
I know. I don't know what's more offended, seeing the breasts or you calling them bajongas. It's as if the suffragette movement never happened sitting here with you, John. But they were huge, and I was like, John, look at those ladies' bajongas.
You were trying to set me up as well. Well, this happened last week. We'll get onto this later. Michael McIntyre stitched me right up last week at a gig, but we'll get onto this. Forgive me if I'm wrong, says Dredge, but isn't jive a New York phenomenon rather than the West Indian twist you're
Oh, dear.
I don't know. Maybe it's time we stop the jive thing.
Yeah.
I might be getting myself into a bit of trouble.
I've got another am I normally.
Go on.
Whenever I'm in a queue at temporary traffic lights, if I'm at the front of the queue, I breathe easy. But if I'm further back in the queue, then I start to get a bit worried. Reason being, if the lights change to green and the queue starts to pass the roadworks, and if the lights change back to red whilst passing or in the convoy of people who've made the commitment to go, then that means I'm going to die.
They're crackers this week. They're really, they're fine. And then the last sentence is always, so I had to kill a tramp. Am I normal?
Yeah. And she's put, needless to say, it's happened a few times, and like everything in life, it was a disappointment. I didn't die.
Right.
So, yeah. That's
what a disappointment.
Happy ending there.
Right. We had a text in from Alice, who I said I wasn't sure whether she was angry or not. She wants to clear up that she wasn't angry. And another, am I normal? I'm really scared of peaches, of anything peach related, peach hand wash, peach schnapps, anything like that. And then she's from Sarah in Cornwall. She said you went to visit a peach orchard in Canada, which was probably a bit of a stupid decision. I think if you're not a fan of the peach...
The clue's there, isn't it?
Yeah, at least one
Come to my peach orchard. Will there be peaches there?
I mean, maybe she's a massive fan of orchards and she had that dilemma.
Yeah.
Oh, God, if you'd said peach forest, I wouldn't have been there. But if
I'm
it's
only
an
in
orchard...
Canada once, you know.
Oh, now we're getting to the hub of it. She says, I only went for the free wine tasting. Which, yeah, to be honest, why wouldn't you? There's a lot of people. Nikola Tesla, who is one of my favourite... He was a proper scientist. He was a genius, and he had OCD. Wouldn't let people touch him. Thought that all women were liars and dirty because they wore earrings. And he was really mental, but he was frightened of peaches on account of their skin. He said he didn't trust it because it had that slight furriness to it.
Yes.
And but I love a peach. I had a fruit salad yesterday, mango. I got into the passion fruit this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've not really done much with the passion fruit in the past, but this week I bought some passion fruit. If you shop at Asda, they get all this exotic stuff in because they're obliged to stock it.
Yeah.
But most people who shop there don't really know what it's for, so they keep the prices low because they've got to sell them on. So like 4 passion fruits less than £1.
That's good.
Whip up some cream, pop it on a strawberry meringue. I mean, you're having a fun
Where
time.
do you stand with fruit corners? Because you know you've got OCD. Do you like it that the fruit is separate? Or is that a good thing? Or when you put them together, is it like your world's going to end?
I've never quite worked out the fruit. I tend to avoid it for precisely this reason.
Yeah.
If you could eat it like they do on the advert, where there's a spoon's got the natural yogurt and a perfect dollop somehow right in the middle of the spoon. But I mean, I think we all know that's a dream world.
Yeah. They can do all kinds of things in Photoshop now for these adverts.
It's CGI. It's like the woman eating the flake in the bath who doesn't get it all down herself and then gets in the sods and she's suddenly having a chocolate bath and she feels a bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
And why is her bath in the middle of the floor anyway?
And I don't think that's Silly Bangs all it's cracked up to be.
That's why he has to shout about it so much.
Yeah.
Well, if I shout,
I'm
listen.
Barry Bethel.
But I do, with a fruit corner, I like the bit, you know, when you first mix it, you tip it all in, and then you just swirl it once or twice, and it's like marble effect.
That's nice,
It's pretty, that, isn't it? I would rather... I'll buy one, do that with it, and then just give it to someone else who needs a yoghurt more than I do.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I just like quite a plain yoghurt. Just natural yoghurt on some shreddies.
I like peach Melba. That's my favourite yogurt. I'm sorry.
Is
I
it?
know it's controversial.
Yeah, I can't believe you've said that. We discussed this off air. We said, jive talk and possibly offending thousands and thousands of people, that's fine, but don't come here with your peach Melba rubbish. All right, Alan. So this is the last jive text we're doing now, because I think we've got ourselves into trouble, but it's coming. I'm going to read it. What? I'm going to read it in English, though.
Okay.
What up with it, bloods? I'd really like someone like... Is it Richard Bryars, who used to do rhubarb and custard and all that?
Oh, yeah.
It's really funny to have him reading text messages out like this. Jar bless your show. It bring our peace and me funny bone a yarn.
Oh, that's nice.
I think it is, yeah. I'm not really sure. I like to name all me plants. Me one in me crib is called Jimmy. Jimmy like the reggae rhythms. Is this a normal thing? And that's from Ryan. I haven't named my plants. I've got a Rene Magritte painting up in my living room, which I've named in the last week, and I discuss Great British Menu with them, Mary and Pete. Hello, loving the show. Alan, think you're so funny. Am I normal? Just to let you know.
That's funny.
I don't know. I think that's normal.
I think you're funny. Am I normal?
Yeah, I think I'm weird. No one else is laughing, but I am. Everyone thinks Alan's funny. That's why you're doing so sold out tour.
Number 32 in the gay list.
Number 32 in the gay list, the highest ranking gay. Oh no, Graham Norton.
Oh, when did he?
Yeah, I think he might be top two. Well,
every
comedian in inverted commas, we'll pop that in. Could you play some Smiths? I'm sure we can do that at some point. And we've had another text in say, Alan, we think you are so much funnier than that old racist Jim Bowen. You should be up there with the best of them.
Oh, thank you.
And that's from Angela and Tony.
Oh, hello, Angela and Tony.
So thanks for that. Keep you. We'll wrap up
that
on
was
my
from
normal.
Joe Pasquale.
So it's Jon Richardson on Six Music, joined by Alan Carr.
Hello.
I never know when people are going to make a noise. You made a noise, but I think it was an unintentional one, wasn't it? It was just like a...
Yeah.
Do you ever do that when you're walking down the street? I hate that when I'm just walking. Sometimes I go... just apropos of nothing, and it's really embarrassing. And no one ever hears it, but then I start laughing because I know I've done it. I love pathetic little noises.
No.
It's not by the look. We'll wrap up... well, I was going to say we'll wrap up the toilet, but that's probably going to create hygiene issues, to be honest. Didn't the Romans used to dump communally? Tough to beat the loo in train spotting, someone says. I don't know the Romans used to dump communally. There were people who were the first ones to create toilets, and they all died of bacteria because they all went in the same place. No, it was before the Romans, but apparently the Romans used to dump communally.
How does that person know?
I don't know.
Is it on Time Team? Have they found, like, a big pile of Roman poo?
They found a hand dryer buried underground. A lot of pairs of soiled jeans. Someone says the towel type that run from reel to reel, who we were just discussing off air. I've forgotten already what it was they did.
I like to move it. I like to move it.
Well, that was good, wasn't it? We really should do an album, you and I.
Yeah.
Someone says they are cleaned at the end of the cycle and then placed back in the machine. It's not swinging it for me. I'm not buying it, to be honest.
What was the name of your band be? Jon Richardson and the Dryers.
Jon Richardson, Recycled Air.
That's great.
That is quite cool, isn't it?
That's an album track, isn't it?
You reckon?
Yeah.
Recirculated. Yeah. And I could remix Man's Best Friend. Get like Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg to do Man's Best Friend.
I'm down my bog with Snoop Doggy Dog. I like it.
Right, we'll get Tina Turner in to record
MC
a track.
Spicy.
Yeah, MC Spice. You can come in
with a spice rack rap. Saffron. I still haven't thought of any other herbs.
Right. Rosemary I use this week. I keep buying rosemary, and every time I buy it, I hate it. It's just too powerful.
Bay leaves. I've been told to put them in. What a waste of time. You put them in and you got to fish them out.
Yeah.
When there's no flavour to a bay leaf. You might as well put a dock leaf in or a nettle or...
No, because people will do that. If you say it, Alan, it will be done.
I am that powerful, remember? 32 on the gay list.
Exactly, yeah. A surge
But
in the...
have you ever bay leaves? What's the point of them?
No, I did once. My lentil roast recipe that I've put on the website.
Oh.
BBC Six Music. I'm probably the only DJ who
/lentil.
regularly puts recipes up on his website. I had a fish stew up there that was lovely. I might put the passion fruit meringue up there. That was delicious. But the lentil roast, you used to have to put a bay leaf in it, and I just stopped doing it. Just pointless.
Absolutely pointless.
And really horrible as well when you buy a curry and they've got like lime leaves or bay leaves in. If you accidentally put one in your mouth, they're horrible, like cardamom seeds and all that in your rice.
And then you've got to put your hand in the curry to fish out the bay leaf. You're covered in...
And then you've got yellow fingers for a week.
Then you've got to go to the hand dryer.
Yeah.
Then you wipe them on your... jeans.
New
it
jeans.
looks like you've... Yeah.
So the last text on, or last two texts on hand dryers, on the subject of hand dryers, when I used to have to put my hands in the same position as the picture on the machine, if there isn't one, I admit I go into a little bit of a strop. And someone says, I have no hang-ups about hand dryers, I don't wash my hands, and that text is from every honest straight male in the UK.
Oh, you know when you started that, I thought you were going to get, I've got no hands.
Right.
I was going to say, because what if people haven't got hands? They will feel...
Left out. You
Yeah.
can still use a hand dryer.
Can you?
Well, you just sort of lean under it. It'll just turn on, wouldn't it?
Oh, does it? Yes, I suppose, yes. If you limbo underneath it.
Yeah, if you had like one hand.
Yes.
I don't know. If you've got no hands, then you've
What does
probably
Abu Hansa do? He's got a hook.
Yeah, oh, he's got a special one. He's probably got like a buffer that he
Yes.
carries around with him
Yeah.
for his hook. Mind you, I doubt he uses his hook for going to the toilet because it only takes one slip, doesn't it?
I know. That would be murder.
So you've got an email.
Yes, I have. This is from Laura. Could you give me some details on your upcoming gig in Leeds? I'd really like to come along, but not sure where to get tickets. I'm a comedy show novice, so not sure of the conventions.
Well, there are many. Who's that from? Laura.
It's from Laura.
Laura, you'll
She's
need to
never
know
been
about
to
the
a
dress code.
Yes.
You have to wear a cape to get into a gig these days.
Yeah.
One of the stand-up comedy rules. Is that she means my gig or your gig?
No, your gig in Leeds.
Right. Look at me. I assume that's the Royal or the Oak, the Library or the Oak. I think
they're lovely gigs, aren't they?
Yeah, when I last did them, it was summer and it was really quiet because everyone was having barbecues and they were running away from wasps and whatever people do in the summer. But I got into a lot of trouble last week because Michael McIntyre, we got an email in about... We were talking about touching and stuff. Are you still single at the moment, Alan?
Yes.
Where do you stand on being touched by strangers? Like, you're very famous now, so people come up to you in the street.
What do you mean? Is it like on the tube or when they break into your house?
No, in your own house, I think you're safe, to be honest.
Yeah.
But no, like, round and about.
Oh, I'm all right, but some people get a bit forward, when they, try and kiss you, and, you know, I don't like that.
Exactly. Well, this was my quote from last week. This is how I feel about the whole thing. Put your glove on, shake my hand, and then we can talk. That's it. Put a glove on, we can shake hands, and then just move away from it. Did you hear that?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Now, there was a massive story in the news. I don't know if you've not been reading the news of Iran this week.
Oh, he's kissed
an old woman's hand, and it's kicked off. The quote was absolutely outrageous. It implied that there was going to be wars and that the whole country was going to go into breakdown, all because he kissed this old woman's hand. Someone said, this kind of indecency has grave consequences, like violating religious and sacred values.
So what did he do? He just kissed her hand?
He kissed her hand, and it was his old primary school teacher.
Oh, it's not as if he slipped the tongue in, is it, really?
Well, they didn't go into details.
No, well...
But, it's President Ahmadinejad. If he says, come round to my house for tea.
But you know what my tour manager said, which I find is really funny? Well, a bit off, really. I mean, I get lots of kisses, from women. Always women going through the change. Do you know what I mean? I never get nice looking. Always people going through the change. People see me like Kilimanjaro. You know what I mean? I'm there to be mounted.
Press the menopause button.
He said to me, Alan, just pop a pack of wet wipes in the back of your pocket, and when they kiss you, just wipe it. How can you do that in front of someone? How can you get wet wipes out and go, oh, that was lovely?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Enjoy the show. That'd be great if you just pulled out like a bleach canister and just rubbed it onto some tissue and,
Or wiped your hands with the wet wipe, then gave it to him and said, you put that on eBay.
But kissing's too far, isn't it?
I know.
For strangers.
Yeah, I don't know about...
Lip-to-lip contact.
Shaking hands, fine.
Yeah.
What about kissing? You don't like kissing like me kissing?
No.
No.
Or like even hugging. I just don't see the need for that much proximity.
You're a very cold person, John, aren't you?
Well, I'm a closed book, Alan.
You are. You know, if everyone gets a hug, then, you know, when you do hug someone, it's not special, isn't it?
Yeah, but if everyone gets a hug, it's fine. But some people do and some people don't. Like, I went round to a barbecue at a mate's house yesterday, and then some people I shook hands with, some people wanted a hug, some people just didn't even get out of their chair when I arrived. You know, which is something I do email forward and ask, that if I arrive at one of your functions, people just get up and greet me when I arrive.
Oh, look at you!
But no one, so I thought...
What about the air kiss? Do you air kiss? Because you do two sides now, not one. It's sort of it was just one, wasn't it? Now it's gone to two.
I don't... I would prefer to air kiss, but then is that sort of rude to air kiss, as if to say, I'm not touching you? If you're going to... I always kiss on the cheek. If I'm forced into a kiss situation...
At knife point.
Yeah, well, but social knives. Maybe you can't see them, but they're placed against my solar plexus. My soul plexus.
Oh, I see what you've done there.
Yeah, thanks very much. Always thinking. Jon Richardson, 6 Music.
What's been the most that people have done to you that you've gone...
Well, French people do 3, don't they? 3 kisses. But I don't know.
Now, what's personal contact at a gig where people have come up to you that you thought, wait a minute, this is too much?
A pinched bum.
I've had a pinched bum.
Yeah, I don't really approve of that. But then that's slightly bawdy. Conversation. That's too much. I don't want to be talked to.
Oh, I had a really boring conversation after a gig quite recently. A man comes up to me.
Well, if you don't want to work with me, Alan, then just book someone else.
Have you heard about these hand dryers? I said, pardon. No, this man comes up to me. Honestly, this is a serious story. He went, hey, guess what? He said, went to Portsmouth. And I say, only left my charger there, my phone charger, in Portsmouth. I went, oh my God. I said, it's like, you can't believe it. Yeah, I know. You just left it down there, can't charge my phone. I'm like, well, I've got to go. Bye. That is boring. Proper boring. Why would you tell me that hasn't got a twist?
Cracking anecdote. I'd much prefer that than you're straight in there with a conversation. You can go, oh, well, I left one in Bognor Regis once, and I tell you the trouble, I just want a new one about it. Just want a new one in the end. But, you know, carbon footprint. Well, I hope someone found it who needed it. You're already off then.
Yes.
I'd much prefer that then. Oh, yeah. So
yeah, and a pinch bum. You're like, you know, ha ha ha, don't touch me.
Do you do this all the time then?
Yeah. Or the worst one after a gig, especially if you haven't had a good one. Well, I found you funny. I hate that one.
Yeah.
I was laughing.
I was laughing.
Thank you.
That bit where you took all your clothes off and started doing press-ups to impress them, I thought you looked very strong. I just took my glasses off, someone says, and found I could no longer hear the show properly. Does this happen to other people or just me? You are a glasses wearer, Alan.
Oh, it does happen. It does happen.
You can't hear stuff if you take them off.
Yeah.
Really? Alan?
What was that? What? Oh, I put them back on. Where was I?
If you're watching the webcam, welcome to the 21st century.
That was a funny joke.
That was a skip, and no mistaking.
I've got a lovely one from Mike in Bearwood. He says, although not a particularly camp person myself, I find Alan's style of naive campness very refreshing. He has now overtaken Duncan Norvell in my all-time favourites.
Oh, lovely
Duncan
stuff.
Norvell, who's the 1,275th gay influential man.
Yeah. To be honest, I think people only check the first 32, to be honest.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're not in the top 32, you're a no one, because you're not getting into World Championships there, are you?
No.
Top 32 for the World Championship gays, and if you're not there, then there's just no point.
He was clever, though, Duncan Norvell, weren't he? Just, you know... No, he wasn't. Oh, listen, Laura, if you turn up to the gig wearing a cape, you'll be let in free. That's what Toby...
Oh, Toby's texted. He
Toby's
promotes the
texted,
gigs.
yeah, if you wear a cape tonight, you'll get in for free. So you know what? Every woman's just going to turn up wearing a cape. It's going to be like a Scottish Widows' convention, isn't it?
It's not tonight in Leeds.
It's not?
It's coming up. I can't remember.
That. Get them to turn up in a cape.
Yeah.
Yes, it's tonight.
Yeah. My gig at the barn in Salisbury. If you turn up in a cape with a cow, you'll definitely get in free.
The password is, let me in, I know John. Okay? Just turn up and shout that loudly at the window.
I've never been to Salisbury. God, it's amazing when you think you're slipping something in apropos.
Have you left your charger?
I have left chargers in the past.
Oh, yes.
Gets you in a right by. My new phone's terrible because the slot that the charger goes in is the same that the slot that the hands-free kit goes in. So if I'm charging, I can't go on hands-free.
Oh, I know.
I've got business calls coming in, Alan. I can't miss business calls.
I know.
There's a reason I'm not number one most successful of anything in the world, and that's because I keep having to charge me phone.
Someone here said, John, you are so wrong. A bay leaf, yeah, a bay leaf is an essential part of a bolognese sauce. Gordon Ramsay sent that in.
Right, well, I can, well.
Yeah.
Well done for trying to sound so aggressive there. You are so wrong.
Well, it sounded like it was a stroppy teenager. And, I hate you, I wish I was dead, she's put in brackets.
You're not even my real dad. He makes cracking bolognese.
Oh, and there's another culinary one. Can I say this? Meringues top chef, John. What's best method? Oh, I thought he was doing it in jive. It's actually normal. Meringues top
illiteracy.
chef, John. What's best method of divvying yolk and white?
Just crack your egg in half and catch the yolk in one half, and then just pass it from one half of the eggshell to the other, and you'll find that eventually all your white's passed into the bowl, and then pop your yolk elsewhere.
If that was too quick, you can see that on CFAT's page 342.
Yeah.
all the recipes will be listed there.
Yeah.
And then someone said, why not put a balaclava on when people try to kiss you?
It's a good idea, but you get very hot in the summer.
Unless you make it out of wet wipes, well, that kills two birds with one stone, doesn't it?
Yes.
Because it also wipes your face.
And a style thing as well, I bet. You could get wet wipes with, like, floral designs on. We're opening a whole new market for
peach wet wipes.
People who just don't want to be
corner wet wipes, they're very popular. One half is crunchy.
With a hint of Cillit Bang. Just in case you're stained. So the text came in, hi John and Alan, I was just wondering if John met up with Lisa last week at the Hull gig. Someone says, John, were you touched by people in Hull? Are you deeply traumatised? I would offer you a hug, but I know that would only compound your misery, so I'll stand at a safe distance of 2 metres and wave sympathetically.
Aww.
And Lisa's texted in to say, thanks very much for the guest list places at the gig last Sunday, John. My sister and I had a great time. So Lisa came to the gig in Hull. Michael tried to set me up with girls in Hull, but I put 2 tickets on the door. I did my spiel, and then I went home, to be honest. I can't be, there's nothing for me to say there. What can you say?
Why? Well, what didn't you?
I don't know, how are you supposed to start that? So, I would have had to say on stage, so, one of you, Lisa, and then there'd have been an awkward, she'd have gone, yeah, and I'd have gone, so do you still... Because, on the radio you can't tell.
Oh, yeah, you see, yeah.
And that would have been horrible.
What you look like.
And my stand-up's very scatological.
Yes,
You know, I combine the scatological with the political.
Yes,
and
well,
some people
sat through your act would know there's a load of scat.
Some people just aren't ready for that heady mix,
No.
So it was an awkward... I did agree to buy Lisa a drink, but I thought I can't do that because that looks really...
Yeah.
Like you at a sold-out tour gig, if you say to someone... there's a guy called Michael Ambrose, find him, get him a rum and coke.
Yes.
That will happen. At a gig in Hull University with about 30 students, that I have to say...
They've never heard of rum.
One of the stinkiest gigs I've ever done. It stunk, the carpet.
Ugh.
As if they thought, we've got nice stale beer, but could we organise someone to sweat on that? Because it really really stunk. And how stupid would you look going, Bacardi Breezer for the lady down the front, please?
Yes.
I've got to drive back to decorate my nan's bathroom in Lancaster.
Oh, no.
So I just didn't do anything. I thought that was safest.
What's that smelly gig we did? And that woman took us in that room and went, during the day, we auction cows.
Oh.
And you're like, really?
Yeah.
Something else? It was so vile.
Skipton, was it, or somewhere?
Skipton. Lovely gig, but the stench.
They held it in like a cattle auction market. They auction cattle there during the day, then they sweep all the crap and straw off the floor, and they invite the circuit's rising stars.
I know.
And they were lovely people.
32 most influential gay person in the world.
And I'm number 4,398,612 in straight lonely men who live in Swindon. But they were really nice about it as well, weren't they? Oh, God, I bet this is one of the weirder gigs you've done. And you go, yeah, there's probably a reason most gigs don't smell like cows' backsides.
I mean, but the way she told us was as if it was like, never. Oh, my Lord. Really? That really?
I thought that was some sort of new air wick you'd bought there. You're telling me that's actual dung. Oh, that'll be what I'm studying then as well, will it? But they were lovely people, weren't they?
Great gig, lovely people.
And I spent Christmas last year around there in Barn Aldswick. Lovely, lovely part of the world. Hello to everyone in Barn Aldswick. Although, to be honest, I know for a fact that you can't get digital reception in Barn Aldswick, so we can say anything we like.
Yeah.
Barn Aldswick, get with the 21st century.
Yeah.
Clean your floors and grow up. It's all kicked off in the last few minutes. I'm told now people are everywhere. We've got a contact number for Russell Howard. So we will be speaking to Russell today. He's in Alice Springs. We'll get hold of him. But now on the line, we have Laura. Is that correct? Hello?
Hello, yes.
Hiya, how are you?
I'm okay, how are you?
I'm all right. Now, this is this week's awkward conversation with a girl, which is becoming a regular feature after last week.
Yeah, it is a bit.
I've got Alan Carr with me today, who's going to give me tips. Would you like to say hello to each other?
Hello.
Hello.
I was
What are you
that...
wearing? I'm joking. It's a little joke to break the ice.
Nice, dude. So what are you doing for your bank holiday weekend, Laura? That's a good start, isn't it? Good question,
Good, that's good.
Out of 10?
I'm sitting on the stairs.
Lovely. Enjoy
I went
yourself.
to the opera yesterday. I'm very cultured.
You what, sorry, yesterday?
I went to the opera yesterday.
Oh, really?
Oh.
What flavour?
Very nice. Pardon?
What opera did you go to?
It was Dido, Ananias and Les Noches. It was 2.
Oh.
It was very fancy, yeah.
Wow.
John went and saw Grease the other day, didn't you?
I did, yeah. Do you know, it ended and I cried. I cried. I went to the Leeds... Is there an opera house in Leeds?
Yeah, it was a grand theatre.
I went to see Anthony and the Johnsons in Leeds with the Sinfonietta Orchestra. So that's cultural link. That's all tied together. So that's
They've got a lot in common.
That's that part of the conversation finished, and that was good, wasn't it? That was good chat with a girl.
So do you like the way John looks? Have you seen him?
I have, yes.
He's nice, isn't he?
He gets a lot of love on the Facebook Appreciation Society. They seem to go for you in a big way.
Oh.
Well, thanks for... I did a gig with Mark Oliver this week, who told me that on my Facebook I've been described as disappointingly handsome, which I think is a compliment, but I'm not really sure.
No, everyone loves you on it. Everyone regularly talks about you.
Wow. Mm-hmm. It's nice to know that such a mundane, boring man is regular. Have you heard John had a meringue this week? I know, I can't believe it. I had him down as a Penguins man.
When John talks about dryers, how does that make you feel? Do you feel jealous?
There's nothing quite like it.
Wrong, yeah.
You feel a bit wrong. I think everyone feels a bit like that.
How does John make you feel? Sanitised. Yeah, in a really good way. So, what are you doing? Are you off tomorrow? Do you have a job?
I'm off tomorrow, yes.
Right.
I work at the university.
Okay, doing...
Very interesting. I work at Disability Services.
Who services?
Disability Services.
Oh, cool. Well, that's very good work. Lisa worked with... she worked in Disabled Access last week as well.
There's definitely a link, isn't there, with the girls?
I believe the term is supplementary requirements now, Alan.
Where do you want John to take you after he meets you for this gig in Leeds?
Why are you doing this? You're raising your eyebrows and everything now.
I'm just trying to help you.
It's like having
out.
Leslie Phillips in the studio.
I feel like Graham from Cilla Black.
Yeah,
Miss Cilla Black with number 1, John, who's... I don't know, I'm not that witty. Right, anyway, so I'm not as quick as Graham from Blind Date. I'm sorry.
You heard it here first.
No, so what are you going to... What would be your ideal date, Laura?
Well, first of all, I need to know more about this cape because, I don't look stupid if I've got to wear some sort of cape.
Well, it's just
is
the
it going to be
cape.
like floor length or more just like, little bolero type number?
Oh, bolero.
Oh.
Well, I always go for the bolero. But I think, obviously nothing underneath, just the cape.
Yeah, just the cape.
John's very fussy. And, just floor length and describe yourself so we know at the door what you look like.
I'm guessing she'll be the one wearing a cape, Alan.
But now it's like everyone will turn up in a cape.
Oh, yeah.
But you're the only one in bolero, aren't you?
Pardon, sorry.
You'll be the only one wearing the bolero cape.
Yes, exactly. I think I only knows what that is. I think I might have made that up.
Oh, you've created a new type of cape.
We'll go into mass production.
Oh, well, describe, what's your hair colour?
It's like brownie red type.
Brownie red? Some people might say ginger.
No.
Brownie red, and how long is the hair?
Shoulder length.
Very nice. I'm thinking Nicole Kidman or Fizz from Coronation Street. in a bolero cape. I'm looking forward. Well, anyway, I'll leave
I
you
hope
two
you're gonna come to
lovebirds.
this
I'll leave you two lovebirds to talk yourself out of this.
Right, well, we'll wrap this up now. Laura, do you know the oak on the library?
I know the library. That is the oak, the original oak. Is it that one?
Yeah, I think the Oak's a slightly nicer pub. Is it?
Okay, which one is it at? Because it says both.
It's I'm at both. I'll do one and then
one
head
night?
down the. Yeah, I'm
He doubles that. He goes all night, Laura.
I'll do two in one night, no problem. I can't
He's going
promise.
to double up for you.
I can't promise the second one will be as good as the first. Oh God, why does this always happen? Yeah, you laugh it off, Alan Carr. So what? I'll put some tickets on the door for you and a friend, so that you've got someone to talk to when it all goes on. I'll put them on at the
Which
Oak.
one's the first one? Details are important.
I'm not sure.
Details important.
I'm not sure. What is it that you want to come to the one that I'm on first at, or do you want to come to?
Well, it would help with the time and stuff, like what time to be there.
Oh right, it'd be about 8 o'clock. At
Either or.
I'll put more details up on MySpace this week, and then you can tell me which one you want tickets for, and you can have 2 free tickets. And you don't have to wear a cape, but it might be nice.
I'm not on MySpace, so...
God, get with it.
Can you do Facebook? That would be
I don't do Facebook because people have told me I've got an appreciation society on it, and to be honest, the only reason I would go on would be to look at that, and that would be one of the most hateful things I'd ever done, and I would waste entire days checking what people were saying about me. So it's probably best I never ever check that, especially if I'm being described as disappointing, because I'll stop there. No matter what the rest of the sentence says, I'll hear that being said by women I haven't even come into contact with, and I'll just have to go downstairs and eat exotic fruits. Which, again, sounds like an innuendo, I promise it isn't.
Do you like exotic fruit, Laura?
Oh, dear. We're all having fun today. I'm wearing a shirt today. I always get bawdy when I wear a shirt. I think it's the collar that makes me aggressive. Well, what I'll do, I'll put 2 tickets on at both, and then you can just come to either. Is that fair?
Sorry, that just stinks of desperation, doesn't it? I'll put 2 on both of them, so if you don't come to one, you'll come to the other, yes? Oh, dear, Laura, get out while you can.
I'll tell you what, for the rest of my career, I'll put 2 tickets on the door for Laura plus one. And then if you move or anything like that, I'll put 2 tickets on my front door as well. And then you can just come round for 2.
That would be great.
I'm having a dinner party Tuesday night, so that'll be nice. So what I'll do is I'll speak with Toby, I'll put details up, and we'll sort that out. I'm being filmed for Alan Carr's tour blog.
Yes, I'm doing a tour blog.
Cracking
That
link.
you just said. Because I'm doing my tour, aren't I?
Yeah, and you're at Hammersmith Apollo this week.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
And still tickets available for Thursday.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday sold out. Can you believe it?
Go along. I supported Alan on the first leg of his warm up for his tour at the end of last year, and it was great fun. And Alan is quite seriously one of the finest comedians in the country.
Thank you. Thanks.
I mean, if you're talking comedians, he's probably 31.
Yes, yeah. To be fair,
statistically, what were you, 97?
Yeah, 97 with Jimbo in. Yeah, and just pipping me to that 97th spot.
But we've been told you're better. We've had that cleared up on text. You are officially better.
I think so.
He's quite a nice guy. I did a gig with Jimbo and gave me his home phone number.
Really?
Getting himself into a lot of grief there, if I don't mind saying. Because I will call at 4 in the morning.
Thinking it's the mint.
So we've done this week's awkward conversation with a girl. I think that was quite funny.
I think that was very awkward.
You've sort of kept it going.
Yeah, I mean, I was just, gentle reminders, making love bloom. Because I'm so old now, I've forgotten what it's like, you see.
Shall we get one for you?
Yes. If there's any an awkward man who works with disabled people, maybe he could ring up.
Yeah. 64046 russell.6music@bbc.co.uk, and we'll try and sort out. Now, on this theme, we've had some text about all this hugging and kissing, because that's where all this comes from. Someone says, I cannot stand the falseness of hugging and kissing, but I do appreciate someone copying a sneaky feel. At least then they're being honest.
No. I think he does that to people and he's just justifying it, isn't he, really?
Yeah, probably, you're right. And then Tim has a term which he calls wrestlers. He says, what about wrestlers, John? Blokes who always try to put you in one of those playful headlocks whenever you meet. I think...
Yeah, there's something going on
that
there.
That tends to be an uncle, though, doesn't it?
And...
That tends to be like a bawdy uncle who'll do that sort of thing to you.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Someone says.
I don't like it, because you know my brother, he used to be into that WWF, the wrestling, not the World Wildlife Fund.
I was.
And he started doing the moves on my mum. Like clothesline. And that's hard, because that's like ramming your jugular, isn't it?
Yeah.
He'd do body slam, and Mum's like, get up to your room, then clothesline. Like, this should just be a quivering wreck on the floor.
Yeah. But you never got spaghetti hoops again. She learnt her lesson, didn't she?
No.
I used to be into wrestling. Flying clothesline, that was my special move. I ripped it off British, because I've still got the build, obviously.
Oh, of course. And the spandex.
Once
the thing is, my mum went and had training, like Mr. Miyagi, without my brother knowing. So when he did the clothesline, she did a back sweat. Body slam, threw him against the wall, which is all lies.
Caught him in a pair of chopsticks.
Yeah, bang.
Someone says, hugging is discombobulating and frankly unpatriotic. And someone says about the French kisses, it depends on which region they come from. Some do 2, some do 3, and some do 4.
4, come off it.
She said, are you calling Tracy and Aberdeen a liar?
Aberdeen?
On your own head be it. Right, we're having troubles. We've got a contact number for Russell Howard, but when we call it, it's not going through. So he has emailed in his message that says, I'll read it in Russell's voice.
Not in jive.
No. Brother. He says, John, I'm not going to read it in Russell's voice because I realised I'd get tired halfway through. It's quite a long message. John, I want to come home, he says. I've seen creatures here that are truly terrifying. The other day I was swimming in a rock pool in Darwin. Harsh life for him, isn't it? The other day I was in B&Q in Swindon. Swimming in society. With a few of the comics doing the Oz Roadshow, and a man did something that made me poo myself for the 5th time in my adult life. I'll tell you what, if I emailed in one message to a radio show, probably I wouldn't mention. But anyway, you know the others. I do know. I was swimming along and I see these beady eyes staring at me, he says. The eyes of a crocodile.
Oh, phew.
And I believe I quote myself correctly when I say that I said... Oh, right, and then a really long swear word that begins with F and rhymes with what I like to do in my spare time. Then this joker who calls himself Tomo lifts out the fake crocodile head that he was wearing and starts laughing. Apparently you should have seen my face, he says. These Australians are so funny, and apparently I look like a chuzzlewonga. I need you, John, and then lots of full stops. So that's the message from it. We will keep trying, to be honest. We've got a little bit of time left, so we will keep trying to get him on the line and talk about Australia.
I mean, that crocodile head joke can only work in the water, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe we should buy one and just
pop it in the kitchen cupboards.
You in B&Q in Swindon. There's a crocodile next to the soft furnishing. It's me!
That's not a real Ganesha either. That's just a statue. Unbelievable. Nice to hear a proper belter. Belting. I think that even the word funkalicious would do that track great justice, John. Sam in Nottingham. Belter, you panty liner. It's give and take on this show. A compliment.
Yeah.
A belter, you panty liner. Sort yourself out. Oh, right. Oh, this is a bad one. Belter. I thought he's put belter, exclamation mark.
Oh, okay.
It should be a question mark, because what it means is, belter? Yeah. Right, it says, belter, you panty liner, sort yourself out. Any more of that musical excrement and the air rifle is coming out of the shed. And then he calls himself Party Pete Gordon. Well, I tell you what, Pete, I bet not many people are going to your parties, you crazy fool. A bit violent.
I preferred Funkalicious.
Yeah.
Party Pete, did you think it was Funkalicious?
Terry Wogan don't get texts like that.
No.
He played the new track there and apparently I'm going to get shot. My hips have started moving uncontrollably in a way I'm not entirely sure I like, says Lucy.
I was going to imagine June Whitfield.
There I was on my stanner.
And I heard this Funkalicious tune.
I'm more into Bhangra and beat, to be honest, but I kind of like that stuff.
I've got a picture of June Whitfield bogling as she's going up the stairs.
We're heading into the last 20 minutes now, and then we hand over to the Music Week with Imran and Julie. This week they're talking to Manic's Nicky Wire. He's all about his political side now. And they've got some unreleased Clash tracks and exclusive news about the Libertines this week.
Oh.
You're fascinated, Alan. A big fan of the Libertines?
Pardon, who?
So we'll wrap a few things up in the last 20 minutes. Bit of jokes and banter, a couple more tunes. Jesus Mary Chain. Still got that to come. Very exciting. Someone texted in, Janus is not a Greek god. It's a magazine where miserable-looking young slappers get hit on the backside by middle-aged men with table tennis bats.
What's it, Janice?
Janus. No, spelt like that.
Oh, Janus. Oh, like the god Janus. I thought you said like Janice.
Oh, Janice. She's not a Greek god yet.
No.
She's still trying to get in.
Oh, is it like a dirty mag?
Yeah, I believe so.
What's that
Don't
got to do with
pretend you
Two-Face?
didn't know.
Well, no.
When you brought it up, I saw that twinkle in your eye.
Oh, Janus. That Janus. I mean, what's that got to do with Two Faces being slapped? Is it
I suppose it's the two sides of the bat or the buttock.
Well, oh, I see.
Yeah, there's a whole hidden depth to table tennis that you can't appreciate. Someone said this cracking email. You mentioned herbs in rap earlier.
Yes.
We did. We've had 2 goes at that. There is MF Doom's Special Herbs, a whole disc of 10 herb-named tracks. They're all backing tracks, though, with no vocals.
Yeah, I can imagine what kind of herbs, though, they're referring to, and it isn't parsley and thyme.
The herbs, you mean.
Herbs.
If they're backing tracks with no vocals, that's exactly what we need.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what better?
Spice it up. I don't know. It's a work in progress. I haven't got to the bridge yet.
Oh, yeah, but when it comes... It's like the belter. Starts off slow, but when it happens, I mean, terrible things. Some good feedback about the belter today. Dear John and Alan, I was dancing and in your power until it got to the lyric, a pinch of organ and then half a pint of horn. Now I'm too busy giggling, says Caroline.
Oh.
Well, you're right to giggle. Someone says, been from Northampton. Could you ask Mr. Carr if he's ever been to Santa Pod?
I've driven past it. That's on the way to Wellingborough, I think, isn't it?
Is it?
Is it? Yeah, it's on the... Yeah, it's like, yeah. Why is he asking?
I don't know. That's all it says.
Has he been to Peacock Place?
Text back, Andrew. Have you been to Peacock Place? Is there a Peacock Place?
Oh, yes. It's, it opened in
Dogging.
the 80s. It was to rival the Grosvenor Centre.
Oh, God, well...
And they still haven't found enough shops to fill the Peacock Place. This is 20 years down
Right.
the line. It's got
So it's like a rough shopping centre, is
No,
it?
it's got a Next in it. It's got a Next.
Right. Oh, don't get me started on...
Don't you like Next?
Well, I've had a lot of issue with me store cards. They screwed me over for 30
Don't, why are
quid.
you on a store card?
they told me I'd save
extortionate
10%.
interest.
Yeah, but they said if you pay it off straight away, it doesn't matter.
I know Carol Vorderman. Do you want me to get her to consolidate your loan?
If you could backslap her for me. Honestly, if you're in a position of responsibility, people respect you mathematically, and you take the decision to advertise extortionate credit cards, you've got no soul.
I consolidated my store cards.
Yeah.
Her maths was right.
Yeah, and then
I went on holiday, I had a conservatory fitted, and I'll pay minimum less. I pay...
Yeah, if you just add up those figures there, Alan, add that one, and the answer is you're screwed for the rest of your life. They have all those commercials. It all sums up to one thing. When they say, oh, if you or your partner has a full-time job, you shouldn't be in so much debt. But maybe you are, but the last thing you want is someone like Carol Vorderman going, oh, no, it'd be fine. It'd be fine, you can afford anything. Do you really know Carol Vorderman?
Yes, I think she speaks a lot of sense.
Do you really? Take her out. I'd love the countdown gig. Honestly.
Why don't you go on it?
I'd love to do countdown.
Honestly, with the audience, they'd love your Andrea story.
I've got that many jokes about puns and I could... Yeah. You know, when you're going at the interval to wring your knickers out because you've got excited at Des O'Connor, use the hand try.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd rip that countdown gig. You've done countdown, haven't you?
Yeah, do you want to put a word in for you?
Yeah.
Oh, now you've slagged off Carol. I don't think you'll be very welcome.
No, I want her job. You do Dictionary
You
Corner.
want Carol Vorderman's job?
I can't be next to Susie Dent. Things will happen.
There's something, she's got X Factor. She is sexy.
Yeah, there's something about a woman who knows words.
Yeah, and you know that pen?
Yeah.
With the camera on the end? Well, during the break, she is filth.
I've got a 9. Well, not now, Susie.
Susie, please.
Someone says, I see on your website, John, you're bringing much-needed humour to Holland. Where in Amsterdam are you performing? Amsterdam City Centre. I think it's near the Hilton in Amsterdam. Hello, John and Alan. I've decided to cook a meal for a friend of mine and would like some ideas. I know her 3 favourite consumables are chicken, chocolate and Jack Daniels. I'm not quite sure how I go about crafting a meal, thanks. To be honest, if you're into chicken, chocolate and Jack Daniels, I see you're probably fairly easily pleased. Start with a Jack Daniels, do like a Bloody Mary soup, like a tomato soup.
Oh, that sounds really nice.
Kick it in with some
on
Jack
a bed
Daniels.
of dairy milk.
Just on a bed. Just get her drunk and then do some chicken. You can do like a bitter chocolate sauce for red meats, but I wouldn't do that with chicken, really. Just do like chocolate cups and a Jack Daniels cream or something like that. John, someone points out a bit of a problem. I had a bit of a pop at Barn Aldswick before. It was just a joke. I enjoyed it there. But they said although they don't have digital signal there, they probably do have listen again facilities from the internet. So if anyone
one internet cafe they have there.
Yeah, well, they all gather round after they have their scones. And I mentioned Salisbury very briefly. Someone says, I went to Salisbury at New Year after visiting Stonehenge. It's a very strange place. We only stayed there for 20 minutes. It was pouring down with rain, and we saw 2 cowboys and a man in a wheelchair pulling himself along with his feet.
Was she a druid who sent that in? Is that why she was there?
Just says Joe in Leeds.
That's not a very druid name, is it,
I
Joe?
don't think so, to be honest.
I'm a druid. What's your name? Joe.
You met my husband, Keith. Have you got? You look like you're about to say something there, Alan.
No. I'm just reading about Dean Gaffney.
Well,
here.
go on then. Go on. We're heading to the last bit of the show now, so this is the Dean Gaffney moment.
Well, apparently, if you read the People,
he did it, Alan. He did it. Look at his face.
This £120 an hour prostitute said
That
she was Dirty Dean Gaffney's secret sex toy, and he pleaded for her to spit on him.
Right.
A kinky. She said she's open-minded, but she's never had that before. Which, if you see her face, you'd find very hard to believe.
Now, £120 an hour for a start, that's a dear do, innit?
That is a dear do.
£120 an hour, you could afford to, do something much nicer there and just get a cheaper prostitute. And to be honest, Dean Gaffney, if there's a man in the country who's probably apt to just get spat on in the street,
yeah,
it's probably Dean Gaffney.
He could just walk through Blue Water and get that.
I think he should, yeah.
Keep the £120, get yourself some trainers.
Yeah.
Or something for Wellard. That's the dog for all you EastEnders fans. No, but yeah, she was... and then he refused to pay for his filthy urges, allegedly. That's what... And Sarah, and she's here in a bra cupping her breast going, he made me feel cheap.
Yeah. Yeah. Straight to the Sunday People with that.
I know.
Never mind. Dean Gaffney. You just go... See, celebrities, there are some that are dirty, like Dean Gaffney, where you just think, fair enough, do what you like, no one really cares.
Yeah.
And then there's a cracking story this week about John Humphreys. I don't know if you heard it. He filmed a programme for the BBC, right? Yeah. And it was for deaf people. Yeah. So naturally they can lip read. Well, he forgot. So when they fade out at the end and they could still be seen,
oh no,
he said a little something, and he was doing the show with Moira Stewart, right? And he turned to her with the camera still on, and he said, "You're the most sensationally sexy lady I know. The best thing we can do for the next few hours is go to the basement and make passionate love." And everyone lip read and saw it, and he admits that he says it, and that he wanted to have sex with her. It's a pretty disgusting image. John Humphreys all over Moira Stewart.
Going at it hammer and tongs.
Yeah, anything
in the basement.
Anything to get her back in the BBC. But it wasn't the rankest sex story either. There's a story straight into the top 10 of ways that I definitely don't want to die. Right?
Yes.
Thousands of carp were drowned this week after being dragged underwater and suffocated by toads that were trying to have sex with them.
Oh, no.
A load of randy toads jumped on carp and tried to have sex with them.
That's awful.
Dragged them under and the carp all suffocated.
No.
Can you imagine? That's in North Yorkshire.
Well, I've seen another headline here, and I don't really want to read the story because I don't think it would be as exciting as the headline. My terror... by mother kidnapped at boob op. I mean, it's awful. Fancy being, it's terrorising. I should know, having going in for plastic surgery. It's harrowing.
Yeah.
You get all nervous, and then to be kidnapped halfway through, especially a boob job. I mean, one...
So it's a boob op then, not a boob op. Like
boob
a
op,
disco
yeah, she's
for
had
babies.
a boob's done and someone kidnapped her halfway through. Apparently one breast was up, was like on dim and dazzle, in your car.
You'd have waited till the job was done, really, wouldn't you, if you're going to kidnap a woman?
She must have like she had a lazy tit or something.
Yeah. I've abducted you and put in the basement. If you don't mind, I've put your side on, because to be honest, that one's done and the other one isn't. It's been stunning. I've really enjoyed this show with you, Alan. It's been a great pleasure having you in.
No, I've had a great time. Thank you.
Alan's on tour, but to be honest, you haven't got a ticket now. You probably won't get one unless you can get to Hammersmith this Thursday.
Hammersmith's nearly sold out on the Thursday.
Very close. There are a few left. I strongly urge you to try and get hold of some. Alan is very good. And, get down to Hammersmith. Have you got anything else you're working on TV-wise and radio-wise?
Friday Night Project coming back on the 1st of June.
Right.
And I'm on Sean Locke's TV Heaven, TV Hell on Channel 4 at some point. So we're keeping up with that.
Anything for the BBC, mate?
No.
Right.
I am appearing on Flog It.
Is that late night seedy version though, isn't
That's
it?
Yes. Flog It Uncut. I'm on there. Yes.
Flog June Whitfield.
Yes.
Well, it's time to hand over to the Music Week. We'll leave you with some Jesus and Mary Chain. Next week, I'm going to be joined in the studio by my guest will be Matt the Voice Ford, who you can hear on Radio Mansfield. But next week, we'll be joining me live at 6 Music. Thanks for all your input today. It's been a cracking show. I've really enjoyed it. Have a fantastic bank holiday, whatever you do, and take care of yourselves. And I will see you again next week.
BBC 6 Music.